All right, greetings everybody. This is Rosano Gaming. This is a video on things I wish I had known before I played Foundry for the first time. Number one, the V key opens up the tablet. With the V key, you can look at things and it'll say what they are, like current target building block. However, if you don't know, if you go to configure an assembler and say you want to make loader second lanes, if you shift right click on the machine, it'll copy the configuration of the machine, and then you could shift left click on other machines to paste the configuration to that machine, and you can do this as many times as you need to. Number two, you can push E to pick up items from the belt. This may not be something that is told right away. You can see the little text icon as I'm holding up over there, but you can also just hold E to pick stuff up as well. The next thing I wish I had known is about modular buildings. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example with the radio tower. If you put the radio tower down, you'll notice it's got a little base. It's not a complete radio tower. What you have to do is go to crafting, go to the modular building planner, craft that, put it on a hotbar, hit the hotbar and left click to interact with the radio tower. Now this will bring up a configuration menu. You will see on the top left where it says radio tower middle part, minimum 3, maximum 3. Radio tower power connector, minimum 1, maximum 1. Radio tower top, minimum 1, maximum 1. So it actually, you just click on the red box, add a middle part. So now I have one part, minimum 3, maximum 3. So you do it again, middle part, and you do it again, middle part, and then you click the top. And you can see how it's white. I have satisfied all the requirements for modular middle parts and also the top parts. Now, you need the power connector as well. So you just click on one of the buttons wherever you want the power connector, and then you just click Start Construction. And then your maintenance drones, your construction drones will operate and build the tower based on the amount of construction materials that you have in the construction warehouse. Another thing I wish I had known before I started playing Foundry is that balancers, sometimes also referred to as splitters, but in the game they're called balancers, they have priority levers. If you hover over them, you'll see it'll toggle the input priority on either side. Now I'm not quite sure how this works. I'm just putting left and then it'll go that way, and if I push okay to the right, so if you want the input from the left and then output to the right, you can prioritize that. Here you can see I have it to the left, so the left belt is prioritized coming in and the right belt would be prioritized coming out. Now I want priority to the left, so we would go like that. I'm just going to change it back to default. Something else I wish I had known before starting Factorio, you can do in-place upgrades to belts and to machines. So if you have a assembler 2, you can just hover over the assembler 1 and replace it with it selected in your hotbar. Now as you can see here, this is green. I have a slope 3 and this is a slope 2 that's on my line, so I just left click and it'll replace it. You can do that for entire lines. Say you have say I had a bunch of belt 3s, conveyor 3s in my inventory, this would highlight this whole line and change it according to how many materials I have in my inventory. Something else I wish I had known going into Foundry for the first time, one pump. This pump right here, the intake, where is it? Where is it? There, right here, pipe intake. One pipe intake can handle a lot of water. So you don't need, as you can see, this is my first solo game. I have 3 separate water intakes for my machines. And what you actually need, these are crusher 2s. What you actually can do is go to pipes and go to the T intersection, and you can actually do a T right here, like so, and continue the line on down to the next machine and the next machine. It can handle many, many machines. I'm not sure on the exact number, but you don't need separate pipelines to go to each machine. You can run from the same pipeline. Now, there is a limit, but I don't know what that limit is. Another thing I wish I had known early on, don't bother with greenhouses. I made the mistake of making a greenhouse. Actually, these are greenhouses, not crushers. I made the mistake of making a greenhouse farm for biomass. The only reason I did that, I've never planted a tree, but the only reason I did that was because of primitive explosives. Well, you do need some primitive explosives, but you can get biomass no problem by harvesting trees. And speaking of explosives, that's one of the things you'll want to automate as early as possible. Regular explosives. You need ignium powder and alumite. So, for people who don't use mods, you'll need explosives to get to the further down ore nodes and things like that. For me, I have a mod where I can destroy terrain, as you can see. You just click and drag for one horizontal layer, click and drag for the vertical layer, and then if you don't want the items to go in your inventory, you just hold Alt and delete, like that, and it'll delete everything, and then you can get to your ore. This is called the Bulk Terrain Demolisher mod. I will put a link to it in my video description. Another thing I wish I had known before playing is that 2 miners can fill up a single belt to provide ore to 8 smelters. Now, normally on my builds, I normally do 4 smelters on each side, but in this case, I have 2 rows of xenoferrite ore coming in on 2 different sides, and I have 8 belts. Now, if you go down here, you can see it's moving slowly, but it's already being taken up by all the smelters, and all the smelters are making my xenoferrite plates. And on this side, the same thing. It's providing enough ore for 8 smelters. The belts can handle, I believe, 160 items per minute. The miners each dish out 60 ore per minute, and the smelters smelt 20 per minute. Now, you might say, well, that's 60 and 60 is 120. If the belts handle 160, you might need another miner. And that's true in some cases, but I have found 8 smelters is enough. And 2 miners are enough. Something else I wish I had known early on, there is a research queue mod. All you do is click on a research, start, click on a research, start, click on a research, start. And you can see down here in the bottom right, I have the queue going for, I have at the top left, battery large is being researched. At the bottom right, Firmolite Smelting and Freight Elevator 2 are being researched in queue. So once the large battery is done, Firmolite Smelting will start, and then Freight Elevator 2, and so on. You can do as many queues as you want, I've found so far. I don't think there's a limit, so you can just queue up everything. Now, if you don't want to do that, the reason why you might not want to do that is because something you are researching might unlock other things that you need to research right away. Now, if you want to get rid of some research, you just left click or right click, and you can do it out of order, in order, however you want to do it. And you can also turn on auto research, so it'll automatically research stuff if you don't want to particularly have an order to your research. However, if you add this mod to a server, auto research will automatically be enabled, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to cancel a research and queue up something else, because you have to click this, and then you'd have to pause and then really quickly click start research on your new thing for it to take effect. Otherwise, it'll go back to auto researching. Another thing I wish I had known before I first went into Foundry is you should automate everything. You should have what's called a mall, where you have multiple machines making multiple items and putting them in storage. As you can see, I have multiple markers on the map. So for instance, down here on in this little inventory, I have Smelt Assembler 2s being automated. You can also stop. Whoops, I'm hitting the wrong button. You can also stop stuff from being stored by clicking the minus or the plus. So say I wanted to do another row of another stack, I just click minus and there goes 10, and then click minus and there goes another 10. That's how many was stored in the machine, so it just went in right away. But you want to automate everything from your early game plates and rods to your later game escalator 3s and balancer 3s, and yeah, all of that stuff. And another tip involving markers on the map, it may be a pain in the butt, but if you can't find something, use your jetpack and go up really high, and then it's a lot easier to see, okay, there's my copper wires right there. So you can just go over there and go down, and double control will stop you from flying, I think. Come on, there you go. Double control will stop you from flying, and there we go. There's my wires. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is I wish I had known there's a duplicationer mod, which can also be called a blueprint mod. It's called the duplicationer, and you do need the mod Unfoundry for the few mods I have talked about that are basically the core mod that you would need to have these mods work. You would after you have it installed, you hit K, and then for me, I hold right click and I open the panel, and then I'm gonna load a mod, load a blueprint. There's 8 smelters. You have to have everything in your inventory to do this. And R to rotate. You can see the direction of the conveyors right there, and you just go up as high as you can. Early on, you don't have a jetpack, but if you want to you just want to try to make sure you have everything in the proper place, and then you just push left click, and then you hold right click and click confirm paste. And there you go. I just pasted a blueprint, And that's how that works. Now, if you want to copy a blueprint, you just go to select area, and then you go to your starting point. For me, it's going to be this conveyor, and then sometimes it's finicky, so hold on. Select area. I'm going to go down. Starting point, okay, and there we go. And then you just highlight everything that you want to highlight. Click again, go up for your vertical, click again, hold right click, click confirm copy, and then you can just paste it, or you go to open panel, save, put a name in, select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 icons, and then save it. And that's how you use the Duplicationer mod. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching and have a great one. See you on the next one.